Hi, my name is Jackson Roche, and my project focused on the real time vocal mode control of effects in live sound production using transfer learning and fuzzy logic. This tackles a specific gap in my previous research when I was able to detect speech and singing using Common Filter and MPC. However, this existing system is incapable of detecting any rap. Rap occupies a difficult spectral middle ground. It shares the dry frequency characteristics of speech, but requires a wet signal similar to singing during a performance. To try to solve this problem, I used an ensemble observer which tried to leverage complementary biases between two models. I analyzed two pre-trained models, YamNet, which is trained on audio set and is biased towards speech, and it misclassifies rap as speech because it can't find the sustained pitch. OpenL3, on the other hand, which is trained on music, captures the rhythmic structure of rap but misclassifies energetic speech as just rap. Individually, they both don't do well. By fusing their embeddings together in the dual head neural network, I create a system that tries to cancel out these errors. One of the bigger hurdles I had was the lack of labeled rap data versus speech. To try to fix this imbalance, I didn't just add more files, I also did data augmentation. I pitch shifted the rap samples up and down 2 to 4 semitones. This was done to force the neural network to ignore the pitch of the artist's voice and to try to learn the temporal density and rhythmic flow, which actually defines rap. This was also done because most of the data was with lower voices and I wanted to work with higher pitched voices. For the control signal, the neural network's output was way too jittery, so I implemented a fuzzy logic controller with temporal smoothing. This allows the system to handle partial truths, so if it's still confused if it's singing or rap, it will still smooth out the signal and try to interpret the ambiguity by still avoiding any zippering artifacts. My results show that the architecture did significantly improve when I combined the models. YamNet alone achieved only 11.5 accuracy on rap, and my ensemble approach achieved a 70 to 90 successful classification gap. However, this system did not work as well with live audio. I tried to deploy a real-time application using Python and Flask to create a web-based GUI with live monitoring. This allowed me to test the system live with a GUI that gave me real feedback. However, the live testing revealed critical trade-offs. Compared to my previous system, it exhibited a way higher latency, especially when I was using my tri-state system. However, I was able to confirm that it worked correctly when I injected any vocal-only performances of rap or singing. Future work would focus on domain adaptation, expanding the dataset to include raw microphone recordings, and also try to implement an actual effect plugin into a VST3 or some other type of plugin. So here's a live demo. I will try to make this brief. So right now I'm just talking and it's detecting it as speech. And then if I try to, pardon me, start singing, if I try to start singing like this, if I start trying to sing, it will detect it as singing. Now, my voice, because I'm not a professional singer nor a rapper, it has trouble detecting these differences. But as you saw with the pre-recorded audio, it had no problem detecting these two. It thinks almost everything I say is speech because I am not a rapper and I try really hard to make it detect it, but it really doesn't like me and I don't know why it doesn't like me.